Hey YouTube, Stick back with another comparison video. Today I'm going to be comparing the Samsung Galaxy Core Prime with the Alcatel Fierce XL. Why? Because there is no big difference in the price for these two phones. It only going to be a $20 difference right this moment, and we would like to know which phone you should pick. Let's gonna find out through this video. We have a completely different design language here. Why? Because the Fierce XL, it stands for a phablet phone or the big phone. It's a giant phone, call it whatever you want to call it. It's a massive 5.5-inch display, and also the battery is not removable, and you have capacitive buttons here for Android where you don't have any physical button to touch. And also you have the power volume down, and the other side you're not going to be able to see anything on the phone. You have a 8 megapixel camera with a flash, and the speaker will be located on the back. While the Samsung Core Prime is actually a way much smaller phone, 4.5-inch display, and you have always like the same language for any Samsung phone. You got the buttons, which is physical buttons, something you can touch, and two capacitive Android buttons and power. And the other side you have the volume control, as you guys can see, and the camera will be located on the back, flash, and the speaker, which is very much as the other phone that we're comparing with. You have front-facing camera, which is going to be 2 megapixel, and you have another 2 megapixel. And one of the things, you have the LED notification light for the XL, why you don't have any notification LED, so you need to actually wake up the screen and see your notifications. It's a big difference in the design here, so if you like big phone, I'm not going to be able to compare with a small phone, but that's what it is. So if we are talking about a larger screen, so the larger screen should be more capable for more resolution and more PPI and stuff like that. So that's very normal to see. The Fierce XL has more resolution, which is actually 720p HD. That's not full HD, which is stand for 720 times 1280, and the density per pixel, which is what they call it, the PPI, will be 267. Where we have the Core Prime, the resolution will be less because it's a 4.5-inch, which is, we understand that point, and will be 480 times 800. But if you look to both, this is TFT actually, and this is an IPS panel. So as everybody knows, the IPS is classed as more power for the screen. But to be honest with you guys, from the just looking on the phone screens and or watch content or anything like that, you're not going to be able to see that huge difference here, because I mean you have a bigger screen for a little bit more resolution. If it's full HD for the XL, yes, I would tell you that will be much way better, but this actually, if you're looking for a screen, just the quality, I mean bigger, yes, you have to go with the XL if you like the bigger screen, absolutely, but there is no massive difference here when you look the screen angle or the colors and stuff like that. So very much you don't lose colors, and in my opinion both screens are very acceptable even for a smaller screen like that, because eventually there will be less consuming battery. Also here, the hardware, there is also a big difference. As you guys can see, the result here for the Samsung Core Prime on the single core 469 and the multiple core, which is 1447, while the Fierce XL only 297 963. But that means it's the Core Prime has a better hardware. That's not true. First of all, the memory wise, I mean you have 16 gig of internal storage in the phone for the XL and 2 gig of RAM, while you have 1 gigabyte of RAM, and you have actually only 8 gigabyte of memory, which is after the pre-installed stuff in your phone, you will be able to see only 4.3, which is compared to around 10 gigabytes. That's a massive difference here. So where you can actually add more stuff and more application games and stuff like that. And also 2 gig of RAM will be able to manage your multi-tasking stuff with less of the lagness. That's absolutely because you have 2 more of RAM. But actually the processor is not power, because they use Snapdragon for 210 for the XL and 410 for the Core Prime, which is, I believe, the chipset. Yes, it perform or open the files in games, and that would be better. Also, the GPU in both phones, there's a little bit of the difference here. So in the XL, you may lose some frames, or the phone may drop some frames. Slightly difference here because you have a 306 the GPU, which is Adreno, and 304 for the Adreno, because this is what it comes with the Snapdragon 210 actually. But from my experience, I haven't seen any that huge of difference. Both they could work very fine, but if you push these phones to the limit, absolutely, or eventually you will see a lot of lagness. This is just my experience about it, but 2 gig of RAM, it helps. More memory helps. In my opinion, I would choose the hardware of the XL over the Core Prime for these 2 major reasons. One of the most important things nowadays in the cell phones is the battery. So the battery in the XL will be a 2500 milliamp hour, 2000 milliamp hour, which is about 500 milliamp hour difference in these 2 phones. But when it comes to the actual performance, I haven't seen any big difference here. I mean, both phones hold up the battery, it's good. So it's about 3 hours screen on time. That depends on the brightness. You can go up a little bit if you use the power saving mode or ultra power saving mode from Samsung. You don't have something similar to it with the XL, which is actually you have just to adjust the brightness by yourself, and you're gonna get the same results. But why that? Because you have a more powerful screen, which is consumed most likely. I mean, the screen consume most of the. As you guys can see, the screen almost drained the juice on the battery at the most. You have more PPI and more resolution and a way much bigger screen. So if you're looking for a battery, or if you ask me about the battery in general, I would say there is not big of the difference in the on the battery, because I've used both phones actually, and it did not give me any huge difference in the battery wise. But both, they're good, especially if you use any of the power saving mode or stuff like that. Both phones are going to be running Android 5.1.1, which is, everybody knows, the lollipop, and there is no good sign for any upgrade in the future. But the hardware that's more capable in the memory and stuff like that to handle the marshmallow, it could be the Fierce XL, but there is no sign there is an update coming up from the company. It's actually because Alcatel is not going to focus on the budget phone like this one. They might pay attention for more phones like the Idol 3 and stuff like that. But anyways, and there is no big huge difference in the features of the phone as far as both they're running Android 5.1. As you guys can see, Samsung, they're trying to clean their operating system here, and they have only some few stuff which is everybody may like. They got the screen mirroring here, and you have these are the only features you have. So Bluetooth, flashlight, airplane mode and stuff like that, where you can find also this one in the Fierce XL, except the screen mirroring is not going to be exist. And you have actual radio here. You can just plug your headphone and listen to music through the radio FM, which is something nice to have. And you have Wi-Fi transfer, where you can actually transfer your stuff if you connect your phone to the local network, which is something actually very basic here. But Alcatel, they're trying to use the stock Android, because in the past they have used their like UI, and they had a lot of lags and problems on the software in general. But the Alcatel Fierce XL so far is not doing as the previous Alcatel we had with Metro Pcs. A lot of lagness, and the phone gives too much of the headache and the problems. So it seems to me this time they're trying to hold it very well. Samsung, everybody knows this is a Samsung TouchWiz, but this is not a flagship phone, so it has even no NFC, anything like that. It will be very budget device, just to do your daily things on the phone. So you guys not gonna be expecting too much from the features on the phones. Always, in my opinion, if you're looking for a phone with a high quality camera, don't buy a budget phone, because they use the cheapest and the worst camera. But in my opinion, the Samsung Core Prime, most likely I would accept the camera way much better than the Fierce XL. The Fierce XL, they got 2 megapixel camera. Also, you have the Core Prime 2 megapixel camera. But in both low lights, horrible results, always you're gonna expect. But the problem is in the front-facing camera on the XL, the angle is not correct. I mean, you have to just make your take your phone a different angle in order to take nice selfie pictures, which is I don't recommend that. Actually, the front-facing camera, and you have 8 megapixel camera. Actually, a lot of noises for low lights, and it's not clear, and the color protection is not that good. We have made the full review, and we actually added some samples in the video, so you can go ahead, guys, and check this out. I'm gonna put the link over here where you can click and get that if you would. And this actually a very acceptable 5 megapixel camera. It has the autofocus and some of the modes. Actually, not everything you need to accept. Also, we have for review with samples, but in my opinion, 5 megapixel and 2 megapixel front-facing camera for the Core Prime would perform a slightly better performance than the XL with the 8 megapixel camera. But anyways, there is too many things missing in these phones. Yes, it's not the best in the market, but when you look up to the prices is very attractive, guys. I mean, and also between the Core and the Fierce XL is gonna be only $20 of the difference. So why not having that big nice phone with the large storage? And if you want Samsung phone, nice, looks like the S4, which is something looks a little bit premium, and also for that price, that would be not bad. So if you're looking for a big phone and more memory in a phone, absolutely your choice will be the XL. If you don't like big phones and you need something basic, not to do too much or not to download a lot of games and apps, I would say go with the Core Prime. And that was very much it for that video. If you enjoy it, you can leave that thumbs up, or you can leave a thumbs down, whatever you like. And also you can subscribe for more videos, and I will thank you so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.